Buongiorno beautiful people, how are you? I hope you're doing well. You guys have been voting on my Instagram page for a gym versus home exercise equivalent, and today we're gonna go through all the exercises I've been doing at home for my back and biceps. So I really hope you like this video. Please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into the exercises. Alright, so the first thing that comes to my mind in terms of biceps are bicep curls. So I think everyone might have a jug of milk or whichever other liquid in the house. Here I have, for example, a 3.5 liters of milk, which is around 3.54 kilos. So you go ahead and you just grab it, you position yourself in a steady position so that your elbow don't move along, and you go ahead and you start curling. Now this might not be ideal because if you don't want to, use the milk for a long time out of the fridge, you might want to use, for example, some resistance bands. Here I have different length and resistance. So this is the heaviest I have, and actually when I put it underneath my foot and I go around it a few times to make it shorter, then this for me is actually too heavy because my arms start struggling a lot, which is great if you need more kilos of resistance, but otherwise I will take a slightly lighter band and go ahead and do the same. You hook up around your foot, you can do actually a few turns to make it shorter, and you go ahead and you curl. Now if you don't have, for example, a jug of milk, if you don't have resistance bands, the other thing you could do is actually take some books and you put them in the backpack here, and you just put as many books as you need. And again, same thing, you can easily curl it, and you do each side to failure, you rest, and then you start again for the next set. Now in terms of back, the first thing that comes to my mind is lats pull down. Now obviously I don't have the cable machine, so it's a bit hard, but what I came up with is basically taking a band. This is just a lifting band where you just put it in the hook and you use it for the barbells. So I just take this, then I take a resistance band, and I basically just put that in the loop and I hook it like this so that it's really steady, and then I make use of my door. So I basically just put this on the top of the door, and then this basically is really resistant and it avoids damaging the door as opposed to those bars that you hook up on the door frame. And basically what I do is just hold it at whichever length I want. So the more resistance I want, I will obviously hold it the highest point. Then I go down on my knees, go in this position so I'm quite stable, and basically what I proceed to do is a single arm lat pull down like I used to do on the cable machine. So you go ahead and you just do the lat like this. Now if this is too hard, you just hold a little bit lower, and same thing, you just do a lat and you just make sure to engage your lat the best that you possibly can, and then you take a rest, and then you repeat as many times as you want. Now if this is too hard, you can use obviously a lighter band. If not, you can use a heavier band. Absolutely depends, up to you. You can even use a shorter band. You just take the end with your hand, and again you do exactly the same thing. It doesn't have to be necessarily a long resistance band. Now another exercise for the back. So as you used to do bent over flies, you can again take a weight, you could take a book, you could take again the milk jug, and you just go ahead, you position yourself. And if you have two milk jugs, obviously you can do bilateral, or you do it unilaterally and you just do bent over flies. Again, if you don't have a weight, that's completely fine. You again can take a resistance band. I usually put it underneath the opposite foot that I'm going to train. I put my stand like this, I just hook it around my hand, and then I proceed to do bent over flies like this, and then you just switch your side and do it with the other hand. Then another bicep exercise is again the bicep curls, except that when you are on the bench and you're slightly inclined so that your body is at an angle, and you go ahead to do the bicep curls. Obviously the way that the arm is doing the curl is different rather than when you stand straight. So a way that I would do it is basically you take again a long resistance band, you step on it just to make it shorter, then you put your body at an angle as if you work basically at the back, but that means simply that your arm, instead of being straight with your body to do the curl, is slightly at the back, so that you get that gap, and then you go ahead and you just curl, making sure that the elbow is not moving too much, and you do again to failure each side. Then for back, again, the first thing that comes to my mind is the normal banded or cable or even with the barbell row. So again, I would personally either take a band, and again, you can either put it underneath your foot, you step ahead, and basically what you do is that you hold down on the band, so that again, depending where you hold it, you put more or less resistance, and you go ahead and you put your back really straight and you row. And this really uses your back muscles and your lats, and it does exactly the same thing that you would do on a T-bar or you would do on a cable machine when you sat down and you do that row position. Otherwise, if your couch is heavy enough, instead of stepping on the band, you can put the band underneath the couch, one leg on one side, and it does exactly the same thing. So it keeps the band into tension and you can go ahead and row. Otherwise, again, the simplest way to do it is to take a weight. So if I go and I take, for example, the backpack, and it's heavy enough, so you put whatever you can inside, books or whatever. Again, you can go and you can bend over and do exactly the same row movement, and actually that really helps in terms of changing up the way that you do the row, so it doesn't have to be necessarily only bands, but it could be with any weight, or if you have dumbbells, obviously you can use your dumbbells. Then in terms of hammer curls, again, you can take your jug of milk, and then you just position so that instead of doing the curl like this, you just rotate your wrist and you go ahead and you do a hammer curl. And again, you can do this each side to failure. Otherwise, if you don't have a jug of milk, then again, you can take the resistance band, and same thing, you just position underneath your foot. You can go around your foot a few times to make it shorter, and then you just hold it as you would hold a dumbbell, and you just proceed to do the hammer curl as you used to do at the gym. And lastly, another back exercise. Actually, this is on the floor, so you can again take a resistance band. You basically can double it like this, and you just hold each side either with your thumbs or with whichever amount, even like this with the whole hand, and you just lie down on the floor like this. You contract your lats a little bit and you extend your hands, and then you go ahead and you really pull towards you using your lats. You stay here for a little bit just to make sure that your lats are contracted, and then you extend, and then you keep going like this, and it really is sort of like a lat pull down, but instead of down, it's sort of horizontally on the floor, and you keep doing this to basically failure until again you cannot anymore. You take a breather and then you do the next set. Alright, so these were the gym versus home exercise equivalent for your back and your biceps. Again, these are not obviously a full complete guide. There are many other exercises that you could be doing with or without equipment at home. So obviously you can go ahead and search it on the internet. I'm sure you can find something else, but these are basically the ones I've been doing. I hope you liked this video. Then if you did, please don't forget to give it a like so you let me know that way, and then maybe I can do also a version for the chest and triceps of this gym versus home exercise equivalents. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help my little tiny channel. And hopefully I will see you next time. Ciao!